In a world where criminal families compete to control entire cities, locked in a violent game of chess on a board stained with blood, where an ancient secret organization controls the fate of billions and suppresses the voices of any dissidents, where killers in sharp suits hunt each other for a handful of gold coins just to add another notch to their gun, and where everyone is dreadfully dark and mysterious. Only a hero can save the day. And I'm not talking about a hero with a wrinkled shirt and easy jokes. No, we need a real professional here. A hero who is lethal and charming. A hero who is always elegant and never breaks a sweat. A hero who challenges both law and crime and only fights for their beliefs. A hero who never loses track of their prey and who always finishes what they started. The kind of hero who leaves a trail of death and destruction wherever they go. Thinking of retiring? I'm sorry, there's no going back. This is a review of World of Killers. Let's dive in. World of Killers is a mini expansion for Outgunned. Unlike Outgunned Adventure, which actually came after World of Killers, this is not a standalone expansion. You will need Outgunned to play. What this offers are new player options, some new rules, but not the full rules as we've seen with Adventure, an actual world to explore, and an entire campaign. For now, let's get started with the World of Killers. The World of Killers is John Wick. That's it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section. Just kidding, but it really is. The organization is called the Stone. There is a chain of luxury hotels that serve as a safe ground for all those that belong to it. There are 6 different families that really play with the genre. We've got the Constantino family leading the Camorra, which are an Italian mafia. We've got the Obnazov family, which leads the Bratva, which is the Russian mafia. The Zhou family leads the Triads. The Lazaro family leads the cartel. The Ito family leads the Yakuza. And the Dolan family lead the mob. Then there are the Rats. These guys are the underdogs, but are also informers. So whenever you need some information, you go to these guys and they'll pretty much get it for you. Well, as long as you pay them. You work for the Stone, or maybe you're a freelancer. You get paid and you receive the perks. Go against the families or you break the rules, such as killing a fellow killer at a Belmont, and you'll be marked as a renegade. This means every killer will be out to get you, so you better watch your back. Any of the leaders of a family can revoke a hero's renegade status, but good luck with that if you're already wanted. There are 5 new roles to play around with. We've got the Samurai, the Hired Gun, the Aristocrat, the Dog Trainer, and the Derelict. In addition, we have a new special role called the Assassin. A special role simultaneously acts as your role, your trope, and your job. When you pick a special role, you do not choose a trope, but you gain 2 attribute points and 14 assigned skill points. Additionally, you gain 6 skill points to assign freely instead of the normal 2, and can choose up to 3 feats from the list offered by your special role. In addition, we have 9 new tropes. We have the Battle Butler, Gone Rogue, Great Performer, Honorable Demon, Just Wicked, Magnificent Bastard, Old Fashioned, Professional, and the Saint. To go along with the killer theme, we have a host of new feats to use for our killer heroes, such as Ambush. Gain a free reroll for all action rolls made to attack unaware targets with melee weapons or bare hands. Or how about Deflect Bullets, which will cost you an adrenaline, by the way. This requires the Sword Fighter feat. Using your sword, you deflect a hail of bullets without needing to roll the dice. Flip a coin. If it's heads, you ricochet 1 bullet back to the shooter, and the enemy loses 1 grit. In terms of new gear, it is what it is. Gear in Outgunned has always been simple, but that's kind of the point. The weapons that we do get are very deadly and make full use of attributes like accurate and silent, with some devastating extras like incendiary ammo. What makes the new gear in World of Killers so interesting, though, is that you can really only buy it at a Belmont establishment by paying 1 gold. This is the special currency for killers in World of Killers, and you get it by, well, basically going on jobs and getting paid. We do get some new rules and mechanics for World of Killers. Let's start with the 2 new Plan Bs. So long as you have not been labeled as a renegade, you can make use of Blade and Belmont. With Blade, your group gains a success or an unbelievable advantage thanks to a single slash of your blade. You can activate this Plan B to cut an impassable obstacle in 2, to shatter an opponent's blade into 1,000 pieces, or even to deal the decisive blow against an especially tough foe. With Belmont, your group gains a success or an unbelievable advantage thanks to the intervention of Belmont personnel, or due to utilizing one of the many services offered by the Belmont. You may activate this Plan B to find shelter in a Belmont hotel, to call on a supporting character who works for the Belmont, or to get out of a thorny and even desperate situation thanks to the mediation of an honorable Belmont associate. Like I mentioned before, we do have a new currency to go along with cash, and that's gold. Gold can only be spent on killer gear. It's what killers use within their organization. Do a job well and you'll get a piece of gold. As a general rule, you may spend 1 gold to get access to Belmont services, acquire killer gear, or gain favors and services from people who belong in the World of Killers. In addition, you can trade in 1 gold for 3 cash if you're truly desperate. To go along with the dog trainer role, we actually have trained dogs. These are basically supporting characters, and if I remember correctly, once they lose all their grit, instead of dying, the character who owns it takes the damage by adding a lethal bullet to their death roulette. Also, trained dogs do not have to be, well, dogs. They can be a trained animal, such as a hawk or a monkey. Good luck training a cat, though. There are 3 new conditions. We have drunk, so all your rolls are now gambles, and at the beginning of each action turn, flip a coin. On a heads, you suffer -1 to the next roll, and on a tails, you gain +1. We have blinded, so you get a -1 to all rolls that involve eyesight. And then we have poisoned. At the beginning of each turn, flip a coin. On a heads, you lose 1 grit. If you've lost all grit and should lose an additional grit because of this condition, you become broken instead of taking a spin on the death roulette as usual. Enemies get a bit of an upgrade with new feats and special actions that make them very deadly. You're going to want to be prepared when you go up against them. On-demand enemies include things like hotheads or Belmont security, ignoble assassins, stone henchmen, Yakuza samurai, pyromaniacs, stone praetorians, a judge of the stone, masked samurai, and baby Yaga. The concept of chases has been transformed into hunt. There are 2 values during a hunt, need and kill. Need represents the target of the hunt. As the need boxes get filled along the way, the target grows closer and more exposed until the killer finally has them in the palm of their hand. Kill is meant to represent a killer getting closer and closer to their target and how much of an advantage they have over the target. At the end of each turn, the heroes fill in a number of need boxes equal to their current kill. Once all the need boxes are full, the hunt is over and the heroes accomplish their goal. Like with chases and runs, heroes can perform actions to further their goals. Gaining successes increases the party's need. After the action turn, heroes go through the reaction turn where they will have to make a roll depending on whether they are in stealth or out in the open. Failures take away need. The director has access to special actions. Whenever a hotbox on the need track is filled, they get 1 adrenaline that they can use to spend or bank for the future. To go along with hunts, we have the getaway. It's basically a chase and you could use those rules from Outgunned, but I wish there were specific special actions for getaways. Spoiler warning. If you plan on playing through this adventure, turn back now or the Godfather will find you and make you an offer you can't refuse. You have been warned. Family Business is a complete cinematic campaign in 5 shots. If you're familiar with the one-shots in Outgunned or Adventure, then you already know how to run this. It is a very linear experience as written, but it gives you a frame to work with. Ian Wilson, the manager of the New York Belmont and an old acquaintance of the heroes, allowed 2 renegade killers to slip by him. The stone judge Ito Masaki gave him only 1 day to rectify this mistake, and the heroes are the only ones who can help with the situation. The heroes hunt down the fugitives, but Ito Masaki still chooses to punish Wilson and renegade the heroes, thus revealing his evil plan to destabilize the world of killers. Ito Masaki is trying to turn the other stone families against the Yakuza so they can cause the fall of his father, Itanori, the current chairman. With the war looming on the horizon, the heroes must put their trust in old friends and new allies if they wish to stop Ito Masaki and take their vengeance. In our first shot, the heroes reach the New York Belmont. The concierge Lance Morgan explains to them that the hotel manager and their old friend Ian Wilson ended up in the crosshairs of the Yakuza chairman's young rebel son, Ito Masaki, recently nominated as a stone judge. Wilson allowed Leon and Grace, 2 renegade killers, to escape, and this oversight could earn him a death sentence. The heroes only have a few hours to find Leon and Grace and bring them to the Stone's justice, but first, they'll have to comb through the Belmont to find clues and information. After a short investigation, they learn that the 2 renegades are headed for the harbor, hoping to leave on board a cruise ship. On the ship, the heroes realize that they are not the only ones looking for Leon and Grace. Ito Masaki's enforcers are intent to kill the fugitives themselves and stop Wilson from earning the Stone's pardon. The heroes have no other choice but taking on both the enforcers and the 2 renegades, trusting their moral compass to lead them through this muddy situation. And muddy it is. Can I just say that the whole prospect of sending enforcers to kill the 2 renegades doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense to me, especially since, they're going to get dealt with anyways. Now, you can actually let the renegades go, but they're just going to get killed off screen, and the consequences, no matter how you play it, they're still going to happen. That's right, Ian Wilson is actually going to die, and the players are going to get turned into renegades. Although this specific shot does introduce the whole hunt mechanic, which is nice. In the next shot, the heroes return to the New York Belmont. The time granted to Wilson is not over yet, but the heroes learn from Lance that the manager was already taken away by Judge Ito Masaki's enforcers. The only way to help Wilson is to go to the tribunal right away. The drive to the tribunal turns out to be more difficult than expected as Ito Masaki's enforcers attack the heroes in the middle of the street. What follows is a long chase with no holds barred, which makes it even more clearer that Ito Masaki has no intention of allowing the heroes to reach the proceedings in time to exonerate their friend. After fighting their way to the tribunal, the heroes must persuade the legate to let them into the court hall, where they finally meet Ito Masaki. Despite the hero's best efforts, the villain does not intend to pardon Wilson, and instead chooses to carry out the sentence himself by stabbing the manager with his katana. In a dramatic scene, the heroes must face the consequences of their failure and run the risk of becoming renegades in the eyes of the Stone, with the whole Praetorian army at their heels. If the heroes act in a hostile manner toward Ito Masaki, the Praetorians will chase them across the streets of the city, and they will have to find a way to survive, running between cars and stray bullets. The situation becomes desperate, and they only manage to get out of trouble when a rat steps in. In the third shot, the heroes escape from the tribunal and become renegades. The heroes have the entire world of killers against them. Everyone they once considered a colleague or even a friend is now trying to cash in on their bounty. They can no longer trust anyone. They can only rely on themselves and perhaps on this rat named Moses. Moses escorts them through the sewers and to an underground court of miracles where the heroes can find shelter while planning their comeback. In the sewers, the Rat Queen summons them to meet her and informs them that Ito Masaki is actually trying to destabilize the world of killers by striking down pillars of the community like Wilson. The rats do not have the means or manpower to stand against Ito Masaki, but the Queen does have a contact who could help the heroes. After recovering, the heroes follow Moses out of the sewers and into a luxury nightclub where they find out that their contact is none other than Lucia Constantino, the daughter of the Kimura boss. Unfortunately for them, an Ito Masaki samurai is also looking for Lucia, and a clash is inevitable. After saving the boss's daughter, the heroes can make a crucial alliance that takes them one step closer to succeeding in their mission, and they also learn that Ito Masaki is repeatedly attacking the Kimura in an attempt to push Boss Constantino to attack the Yakuza, starting a war between families. It's also at this point where the heroes earn an advancement. In shot number 4, Francesco Costantino, Lucia's brother and the boss's favorite son, is about to marry Teresa Amato, the heiress of an extremely wealthy Italian criminal. The Costantinos need this wedding to recover from their terrible financial situation they are experiencing, and this is why Ito Masaki wants to stop it at all cost. After taking the heroes to her villa, Lucia explains to them that Ito Masaki wants to assassinate Francesco during his wedding in order to push the Costantino boss to declare war on the Yakuza. To avoid the worst, the heroes must head to Sicily and stop the assassin before they can succeed in their grim mission. In Sicily, the heroes will have to get into the Amato villa by finding their way through an underwater cave system and, once on the inside, to hide among the guests. Everything appears to be going for the best until the heroes learn that the town priest was threatened by Ito Masaki's hirelings and forced to move up the ceremony. While the wedding unfolds as if nothing was happening, an assassin dressed like a minister walks across the church with the intent to kill Francesco before he can say the fateful "I do." In a race against time, the heroes must deal with the assassin before it's too late and ensure that the wedding can proceed smoothly. This is their only chance to be accepted into the Camorra, so they can finally stop being renegades. And in the last shot, the Costantino boss is hell-bent on avenging the attempt on his son's life and wedding and declares war on the Yakuza, no matter what the heroes did in the last shot. The growing tension between families pushes Chairman Itonori to retreat to Tokyo, where he believes he'll be protected by his most loyal Kobun. But in fact, Itonori is far from safe there, because the people sworn to protect him have betrayed him, and chosen to side with the evil Ito Masaki. Far from the eyes of the stone, nobody can stop the villain from killing his own father and taking over as chairman of the Yakuza. The heroes must get on a plane to Tokyo, parachute down on the pagoda where the Yakuza chairman took refuge, and do their best to save him. After an exciting infiltration into Itonori's tower, the heroes' rescue attempt is interrupted by the arrival of the villain, who sicks his evil goons on them and then flees. Under the pouring rain, the heroes must head to the Tokyo Belmont to face off against Ito Masaki and his army of Praetorians armed to the teeth and equipped with incendiary ammo. Getting through the judge's guard seems impossible, and the heroes must find the strength and determination they need to make their way through the Belmont halls and up to the penthouse. Once the Praetorians are dealt with, the heroes come face to face with Ito Masaki, and they finally have a chance to stop the war and exact their vengeance. The world of killers will never be safe so long as the villain is free. Here's my hot take on the campaign. I don't really like it as it's written, and I want to emphasize as written. It's very linear to the point where any decisions the players make doesn't even matter. You can choose to let the renegade killers go at the very beginning of the campaign, but they're just going to die off screen. Oh, and by the way, even if you do kill those renegades and you do everything by the book and everything so perfectly, yeah, that guy, Ian Wilson, is still going to die, and you're still going to get blamed, and you're still going to become a renegade. Later on, you go to Italy to save a wedding from assassins, and, if you save them, well, the Don, or the father, is basically still going to go to war with the Yakuza people. It's this whole false choice debacle that we see in video games a lot nowadays, and to me, it just kind of ruins the campaign. And yes, I recognize that this is supposed to be a rather short campaign, but it would have really helped it out if there was advice for when the players decide to go off the rails, or, in fact, encourage that style of play. If you're new to running games with new players, then yes, definitely run through this as written and learn the trade along the way. I would certainly agree that this is actually a really great introductory campaign for those types of people. If you're a bit experienced, playing with, some more experienced players, then go with the flow of your players. You have a framework and you can really do some great stuff with what's given here. Just make it your own. Aside from the campaign, World of Killers offers something really neat for players who really enjoy Outgunned. New roles, new tropes, new rule mechanics that really get that John Wick feel. While it can be a little bit awkward to combine some of the roles from Outgunned with some of these new roles in World of Killers, it can be done. But remember, this was always a game that does really well with a few amount of players. So you're really not going to be stepping on anybody's toes if you just use the roles that are in this book. This isn't a must-have, but if you're into the genre, then definitely go for it and have fun with it. That's going to do it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.